It's 1939 in Atlanta, Georgia. At an apartment building in Techwood Homes, the nation's first federally subsidized housing project, a boy takes out a copy of the Atlanta Journal and throws it at the doormat. The boy is 18 years old. He and his brother have been in charge of the paper route since they moved in. Between his brother and him, they make nearly enough to make the family's rent. The only drawback is that he has to deliver papers on Sundays. It's a major conflict for him as a devout Christian. His faith has sustained him through his family's hardships and his father's abuse. He vows that when he starts his own business, he will always close to observe the Lord's Day. The boy is Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, and 7 years from this day, delivering newspapers, he opens his first restaurant. This is the story of Truett Cathy, Chick-fil-A, and how the company became one of the most successful and profitable fast food chains. Despite having only a handful of locations outside of the US, Chick-fil-A is a massive success domestically. With consistent year-on-year growth in sales since its first store opened in 1967, Chick-fil-A has achieved a staggering 50 years of consecutive sales growth, reaching an incredible $19 billion in 2022. This impressive accomplishment has positioned them as the third largest U.S. restaurant by domestic sales, coming in behind only Starbucks and McDonald. It's unbelievable to think that they've reached this with only 2,800 locations, which is not even a fifth of what McDonald's and Starbucks have. That means Chick-fil-A generates an average of $6.1 million per location, which is almost double the amount of McDonald's. And the craziest part? They do it all while being closed on Sundays. Given Chick-fil-A's success to date, I chose to further investigate the business in order to identify the core drivers of its success. Although the company has reportedly spent $50 million to invent a grill that makes the chicken taste more homemade, the taste of the sandwich is not one of the core drivers of its success. Instead, I found these three factors that likely contributed to their exceptional growth, and most of these factors boil down to customer satisfaction. Let me explain. But let's talk about the founder, Truett Cathy, first. Born in Atlanta in 1921, he grew up during the Great Depression and experienced poverty from a young age. He was already an entrepreneur at the age of 8, selling Coca-Cola. By age 12, he and his brother Ben had taken on newspaper delivery and quickly became the primary breadwinners of their family. The two brothers, like many other veterans, wanted to start a dining business after returning from World War I. They decided to open a restaurant, but due to limited resources, they had to start small. Their first restaurant, called the Dwarf Grill, only had a 26-seat capacity, making it unusually small for the time. They built it near a Ford auto plant with the idea of bringing in its hungry employees. It worked. The brothers soon noticed that some of their customers were taking rolls and chicken meat and turning them into sandwiches, giving them the idea for the Chick-fil-A concept. In this very diner, Truett crafted the iconic Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, consisting of a fillet on a toasted bun with 2 pickle chips. Years later, Truett lost his brother Ben in a plane crash and was left to run the business by himself. Being a visionary, he noticed the growth of America's suburbs, particularly the indoor shopping malls that were springing up away from the city centers. He opened his first Chick-fil-A restaurant in 1967 inside the Greenbrier Mall in southwestern Atlanta, the A in the name representing grade A meat. And as malls began to grow in popularity, so did its Chick-fil-A's sandwiches. It set the tone for the majority of its future restaurants. Some are standalone units, but most are located in malls. In 2014, Cathy passed away, but the Truett family remains the owner of Chick-fil-A. To maintain Chick-fil-A's unique culture, Truett secured the future of the company by having his children sign a contract that would ensure that Chick-fil-A will always remain privately held and closed on Sundays. The first secret behind Chick-fil-A's success in the competitive American fast food industry lies in its unconventional franchising model. Unlike other chains, Chick-fil-A takes full ownership of each new location, choosing the site and constructing the building themselves. Franchisees are called operators, and each operator is handpicked by Chick-fil-A after a rigorous interview process. Out of the 20,000 applications, around 130 operators are approved every year, making the acceptance rate below 1%. 4%, which is lower than getting into Stanford or getting a job as a Goldman Sachs analyst. But once accepted, Chick-fil-A operators only need $10,000 of initial investment, which covers the franchising fee. All other costs to get the new store up and running are covered by Chick-fil-A. That's much lower than the startup costs for a McDonald's franchise, which requires a $45,000 franchise fee as well as $1.3 to $2.2 million of additional investment. But because Chick-fil-A retains full ownership of every store, operators don't own any equity in the business, meaning they don't have the option to sell it or pass it on. Chick-fil-A's strategy is not about rapid expansion, but rather ensuring the success of each individual store. They even complicate franchisees from opening multiple locations. This approach is done to keep the quality of each location on par with Chick-fil-A's high standards and ensures that the franchisee deals with customers directly, are active members of their local community, and represent the company in the most favorable light, which leads to Chick-fil-A retaining high customer satisfaction levels. Chick-fil-A is a typical example of a company that believes in what is worth doing well. Unlike most restaurants with a big menu used as a strategy to attract a larger customer base, the Chick-fil-A business model is centered on providing a small size menu. They focus exclusively on chicken offerings, which results in a simple menu and a standardized operating process. To put it into context, Chick-fil-A made an average of 12 permanent or limited time additions to its menu annually in recent years. Burger King has averaged 37 additions per year, and McDonald's has averaged 49. When it comes to adding new items to the menu, there's a balance between capitalizing on consumer trends and the potential drawbacks. Not only can a new item eat into the sales of a menu staple, but it can also harm kitchen efficiency if it's complicated to prepare. Larger menus can also negatively impact drive-through efficiency, since customers need more time to read and sort through the options. This can lead to longer wait times and decrease the number of customers served per hour. Furthermore, a larger menu can result in more opportunities for staff to make mistakes with orders. Chick-fil-A's drive-thru performance has always been on point, scoring top marks for customer service and order accuracy in the 2018 survey, showcasing the success of their streamlined approach. Simplicity and consistency have been the cornerstones of Chick-fil-A's menu for the past 50 years. Being maniacally focused on what they do best has allowed them to dedicate more attention to other important aspects of their business, like customer service. This tunnel vision on customer satisfaction and simplicity has created a brand value that is highly valued by customers, which leads me to the final point, the brand identity. Being a company that focuses on their people and providing exceptional services instead of chasing profits has been a great positioning strategy for Chick-fil-A. One way they do this is by being closed on Sundays, a practice that was established by founder Truett Cathy when he started the company. I personally don't recommend any other restaurant in the industry consider this practice, but by embracing it and using it as a part of their brand identity, Chick-fil-A has turned a potential negative into a positive, having signs that read "closed on Sundays" everywhere, making it almost a slogan for the company. The closed on Sundays policy also applies to stores that are operating inside stadiums. Its Mercedes-Benz location even remained closed when the Super Bowl was held there in 2019. Despite losing an estimated $1.7 billion in sales, the company stands by their decision, believing the benefits outweigh the losses. The policy allows employees to recharge, leading to better service. But the real magic lies in the intangible benefits. Chick-fil-A is the only restaurant that is known for being closed on Sundays, and by doing so, they strengthen their brand identity by showing how family-oriented the restaurant is, and this appeals to a broader audience across the United States. This is also the reason why Chick-fil-A scores above average for attributes like brand image and emotional connection in surveys, and the reason why Chick-fil-A is more than just a fast food chain. It's almost a lifestyle brand. This level of consistency and reliability in their identity increases customer satisfaction and loyalty. In fact, Truett mentions his love of customers in his book. If the president walked into the restaurant, your voice and facial expressions would change. You'd be eager to serve the president well. Make sure he had a clean table, then go up and see if everything was all right, or if he needed anything else. If we're willing to do that for the president, why not treat every customer that well? While Chick-fil-A's unique values have led to their success, it's important to note the controversies surrounding the same values. In 2012, Dan Cathy, son of Truett Cathy and the chairman of the company, made comments on same-sex relationships that sparked controversy. And in 2019, the company faced criticism and boycotts due to their donations to anti-LGBTQ+ organizations. This resulted in the chain being boycotted and some cities like Buffalo and San Antonio rejecting restaurant openings at their airports. While Chick-fil-A has since changed its approach and pledged to shift their focus towards education initiatives, it remains a topic of discussion and debate. As this is a sensitive topic, I encourage everyone to delve deeper into it and form their own opinions. But from a business perspective, it's interesting to note that although the boycott hurt the brand's reputation, the company's annual sales remained unharmed. In fact, the year the boycotts took place, Chick-fil-A's sales improved significantly. This raises questions about the effectiveness of boycotts as a tool for social change. Let me know in the comments if you want a video on the effectiveness of corporate boycotts and why they aren't as effective as you might think. Much of Chick-fil-A's success can be boiled down to their relentless efforts for customer satisfaction. From its unconventional franchising model to their small menus and brand identity, the company's philosophy, strategy, and operations are highly synchronized, resulting in tasty fried chicken sandwiches. Some areas the company can improve would be in its pricing structures, as its prices are much higher than some of the other fast food chains, and its very low global presence as it has not fully taken advantage of the global market and is majorly known only in the US. It's difficult to accurately predict the future status quo in this segment of the fast food industry. What is evident, though, is that Chick-fil-A's growth does not appear to have reached its apex yet. Unlike Chick-fil-A, Apple has taken full advantage of the global market by interweaving its operations with China. We have another video about how Apple manages its relationship and inventory with China, which you can watch here. If you found this video educational or interesting, let me know by commenting. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more business-related videos.